Well, after I graduated Berklee College of Music and Trinity College, I had to take a big break on my life from being the student to being someone who puts practice into play. I took a break in South Africa for several months before deciding to spontaneously come to LA. I had received a few phone calls from my colleagues who have also graduated with many opportunities. They needed a session player in the studio and someone to record the erhu, which I have behind me, or Arabic music or Indian improvisations on the violin. Those session players were very hard to find in Los Angeles who could do this for new movies or video games. So I had traveled over here as a session player and later got into a few internships as a film composer where I was working in the same building where Hans Zimmer was. This was very inspiring, and from there I learned that everything I thought I knew in theory was not the same. There are no rules in film composing or active performing. So I would have to study the way these composers worked in their own systems and be able to adapt to that. So my love for technology grew, and I learned every music program I could, composing softwares as well, production softwares, how to mix, just so I could be at service to anyone in order to get by each month. Um, Later on, opportunities came by where I could compose for my own short films, and I started working on some children's shows and animations from there. I later on got hired by an amazing composer named Lily Hayden, who has given me many opportunities to orchestrate and write for film, and as well as compose as a violinist. And we've been quite the team together. I would suggest finding someone who has a lot in common with you. Her being a violinist in world music with a wonderful band, Opium Moon, and my background in world music and being able to handle the same softwares, we were able to migrate with each other into this film scoring relationship. And we're really excited about what we can do from here. She's also given me many opportunities to work on new inventions to compose, and I've really dug a deep hole over there that's leading to the light. It indeed. This has been the root to everything I do, even technology being a form of world music, as we can't just forget electronic music and its culture. So, yeah, if I was still at home, I'd probably be in the orchestral career, being an orchestra player in a symphony orchestra, or a music educator, which I have the utmost respect for. But with my drive to travel, it's influenced so many directions in what I do. And I remember just being in Valencia, Spain, being influenced by flamenco, the history, and Latin music as well. And once I was able to travel to France and even places of classical music like Amsterdam or Vienna, I really got to see the cultural side of Western art music and how you could just busk on the street, play with friends, but you're playing Mozart together. It was just so beautiful that from a concert hall to just casual folk music, how it was treated. And then at the same time, I saw the opposite, being able to go to a concert hall to watch a Carnatic performance, for example, has been absolutely fantastic in these acoustic spaces. And it influenced me more as a composer to write for these instruments, discover new instruments. When we had gone to Turkey, for example, and being introduced to its own ways of playing microtonal music and Arabic music and the different instruments, the wind instruments they used, it was absolutely fantastic. So having the first-hand experience and sitting down with the book definitely changed my way of playing and my way of viewing the world. As a composer now, I've been able to take a sample of that and it's also been my ticket to go back to these places and communicate with them. India being the main one right there, I definitely see myself with the guru for the next, 5 years in a certain period of my life, reflecting back and immersing myself once again with what I do. Well, I really see us as an enhancement. It's a call and response. There's a counterpoint to how we work with technology. If we look back to the era when synthesizers first evolved, it was flooded and exhausted to the point where all we heard was, a cheesy 808 and since playing. But from there, Michael Jackson started to come by, Quincy Jones, Herbie Hancock started to evolve that into their own styles of music with jazz, R&B, and pop, and rock and roll. And I feel that once we have technology as a tool, not taking over our lives, but a way that we enhance what we do ourselves, it's a it's a beautiful art from there with what we can do from it. And with what I do personally, being a session player in an orchestra, there's the organic feel to playing a violin on a film score, and usually we would have someone mock things up with sample libraries and give it back to us to record over. Sometimes they use both, or sometimes we replace the sound, or sometimes they use the sample libraries without telling us. But I feel with what we can do with technology today, my goal is to combine the two and not see it as a threat, rather even create even more opportunities and have these live performances with our music and even in the studio today. It's amazing what we can do with these machines right here. Just being able to talk to them and having them talk back to us. So as a composer, I always try to write for both and create opportunities for my friends to perform with and enhance what I've written. Obviously, nothing will be as mechanical as technology, but nothing will be as imperfect and human as we are. So we exist with the both, and I don't think we should fight it from there. Yeah, I would say practice is realization and not perfection. If we aim at a certain goal and complete it, then we'll get in our comfort zone. But if we aim at a certain goal and once we understand and realize it, we can innovate it from there and go even higher. So whether you're an engineer doing a mix, you'd understand that there is no final product, it's the due date. So take your time while you're young, where you have less due dates. And once the due dates do come in, use that as half of your inspiration and the other half just to go wild, have fun. Explore and let that be patient with you. Test it, because right now music will be testing you and how much you can endure. It will craft who you are, what genre you do. Your life story will be your message later on. So fulfill it. Really indulge in it, breathe it, do what you can, and just make noise.